They always come before dawn, when the town is still and the streets belong to the night. That was the pattern on January 14th, too. 3 young men barreled through the Oberharz, heading for Torfhaus. One of them was Saba B., 18, living in Utrecht, Dutch resident with Moroccan roots, just like his partners. At 2:50 a.m., the quiet shattered. A local cash machine erupted in a blast that echoed off the snowy hills. In this season alone, investigators say over 100 ATMs have gone up across Germany. The unit in Lower Saxony tracks many of them, and what they see looks like a machine of its own. Drivers who source cars, suppliers who provide explosives, scouts who pick targets, and the hands on the ground who set the charges. A textbook case of organized crime. The 3 flee into the darkness. To blend in, they slapped on a Duisburg license plate they had stolen, then made a wrong call. Instead of heading west toward the Dutch border, they turned south. 15 kilometers later, they smashed a guardrail and ditched the wreck. On foot, they slipped into a residential area, hauling a sports bag packed with cassettes and cash. They tucked themselves away in a garage, faces hidden under ski masks, waiting for the world to wake. Just before 9, a 68-year-old tenant lifted the garage door. Imagine the shock. 3 masked men in your space, the breath of fear filling the cold air. Neighbors heard a scream, saw movement, then a car door slam. The kidnappers shoved the woman into the back seat and roared off. The neighbors dialed the police and relayed the plate. 33 kilometers later, on the B243, officers boxed the vehicle in and brought it to a clean stop. The 3 Dutchmen were pulled out and cuffed. The woman had spent around half an hour trapped with strangers who had already shown they were willing to risk lives for money. For seasoned investigators, that escalation felt new, and it felt grim. Night after night, on average, more than 1 ATM is blown apart somewhere in Germany. It is bank robbery for the present day, a version 2.0 that feeds social media and gangster rap, where masked crews become folklore for a generation hungry for quick status. The methods vary. Some pump gas into the machine and ignite it. Others use solid explosives. The result is the same. Walls torn open, streets littered with debris, and millions in damage that can ripple through small towns for months. Most of the crews come from the Netherlands. The annual haul in Germany is estimated in the tens of millions. Many of the young men move in circles where crime is a business line that sits next to drugs and stolen goods. Utrecht stands out as a hub. In districts like Overvecht, where a majority have migrant backgrounds and opportunity is scarce, the path can look short and seductive. Blow an ATM, grab a roll of tickets, splash out on a designer jacket, show your friends, and post the spoils. They are told they are young, that the law will go easy, that this is the moment to cash in. In one anonymous warehouse in Overvecht, a crew found its headquarters. The leader called himself Fuat Lago, borrowing menace from a Bond villain. His former partner later told a court he kept a database of around 200 names. Young recruits gathered in a private chat channel to trade watch times and plan strikes. Some nights he sent as many as 8 teams at once. He was connected to a second ring in Amsterdam. The warehouse was more than a clubhouse. It was a laboratory. They rolled in real ATMs, different brands, different locks. They tested blasting techniques, built tools, recorded tutorial videos, then blasted again. Once, they ordered a machine from Germany. Investigators in Osnabrück saw a chance. They planted surveillance on the unit before it crossed the border. That single device opened a window. Wiretaps recorded car conversations. Cameras watched comings and goings. The picture sharpened. On tape, one of the men told a friend that Lago had taught him how to work, what to watch for, how to keep it tight. He whispered that the boss would kill him if he learned he was freelancing. For a time, Lago seemed untouchable. Then his world blew back at him. We will get there. Cross-border raids hit the network hard. More than 100 officers swept in, German and Dutch working side by side. 36 suspects were identified. They seized phones, tools, blasting gear, even a money counter that clicked through stained bills. Prosecutors followed the money. Some leads pointed to real estate in Spain, some suggested cash was ferried to Morocco. Others hinted at seed capital for drug buys. Every answer raised another question, but the pattern stayed clear. The borderlands of Germany remained the favorite hunting grounds. Take Mel in Lower Saxony. Until late February, a kiosk there housed a bank machine. At 2:37 a.m. on the 22nd, 3 men in a car rolled into town. A security camera caught the silhouette. Moments later, the kiosk erupted in a blast that rattled windows for blocks. The homeowner next door woke to a shockwave and a second detonation that threw him from sleep. Solid charges had been used. The machine held. No cash came free. The trio fled empty-handed, dove onto the highway, and met a steel welcome. After 80 kilometers, a spike strip shredded the tires of their Audi S3. 3 arrests, 2 wounded officers, 1 totaled squad car. That could have been much worse. These crews drive like their lives depend on it. They know how to kill taillights and run with no glow. In recent chases, officers have been hit with laser pointers aimed at the windshield. It does not take much to cause a catastrophe. Many of these cars carry jerry cans of gasoline because refueling at a lit forecourt is a one-way trip into a camera lens. The vehicle is the weapon. It is the bomb. And the highway is their firing range. A police helicopter video from early February tells the story in cold green. The crew had hit a machine in Hesse, then streaked toward the Dutch border at up to 250 kilometers per hour. The favorite rides are German rockets like the Audi RS line, 400 horsepower monsters that can push close to 300 when their limiters are cut. Sometimes power eats itself. On the A2 near Juwelen in the Netherlands, a red rental Audi slammed into a Peugeot, killing a 20-year-old woman. In the trunk, police found chemicals to make explosives. The crew tried to run, then gave up. Some of them had worked under Lago. Lago did not see a judge. He died in his workshop. He was experimenting with triacetone triperoxide, TATP, a volatile compound you can mix from hardware store products if you are reckless enough. Reports say he was practicing on a German ATM, testing a metal tool like a pizza slide that shoves a charge into the throat of the dispenser. Something went wrong. The blast punched a hole in the concrete floor. The teacher of the craft died by the lesson. The spree did not stop. In October, 4 men cracked a machine in Ganderkesee near Bremen. A patrol car swung in from the right and lit them up. The chase began, but the escapees had the edge. The job itself takes 3 to 5 minutes, often less. By the time an alarm pings and a cruiser rolls, the crew is already roaring away. Early pursuit is possible. Continued pursuit can cross a line where the risk to families on the road is too high. That is a calculation many commanders know too well. Not every night favors the crews. In Kierspe, in North Rhine-Westphalia, a witness dialed in a tip. A chase followed for 40 kilometers, then officers forced a stop. The men bolted into nearby woods, heartbeats hammering branches, but a police helicopter with a thermal camera picked up their heat signatures in the brush. The takedown was clean. Once in custody, these suspects talk little. They waive statements, sit their time in pre-trial, and often move back to the Netherlands under transfer agreements. Some are out again with conditions not long after. The carousel spins, and Germany keeps its place at the center. It is easy to see why. Germany has around 52,000 ATMs. The Netherlands has about 6,000. Opportunity dictates the map. The question is how to make the feeding grounds less rich. Fewer machines in exposed spots would be a start. Reduce chances. Then upgrade the boxes that remain. Fog systems that blind the lobby. Die packs that stain the cash. Glue packs that bond the notes into worthless bricks. Machines locked behind doors through the night. Restricted hours. Each layer adds friction. Each second adds risk for the crew. The industry is not standing still. In Ibbenbüren, a crew hit a machine that had been hardened. One blast did nothing. A second blast cracked tiles, but not the core. The vault stayed shut. The team left with nothing but frustration and a heavier scent of panic in the air. That is the future if the defense keeps evolving. More false starts, more empty bags, fewer chases that end in twisted metal. For now, the rhythm continues. Before dawn, empty streets, a rented rocket, a bag of chemicals, a plan built on minutes and bravado. Sometimes a neighbor wakes with a start. Sometimes a patrol car turns the corner at the perfect second. Sometimes the blast rebounds on the man who set it. What ties it all together is speed, organization, and the illusion that youth will keep you safe. The night says otherwise, the sirens say otherwise, and every hardened machine that refuses to open is another cold answer to a hot crime.